Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Come on in. There are seats at the front. My name is Claire Schaefer-Olekshak. I'm the Executive Director of Sustain Dane. Welcome to the 2025 Sustain Dane Summit. I'd like to start with a land acknowledgement, recognizing that we are on the traditional territory of the Ho-Chunk people. The Ho-Chunk have lived here for over 12,000 years, and I celebrate their incredible resilience and strength. I look forward to the summit every year. This is a day when we come together and we get to take a break from everything else that's happening. We can spend this day letting ourselves think big, reflecting, being inspired, connecting with each other, and then going back out into the community and making a positive impact. This year, Sustain Dane and many other parts of the community and many other people have been on a roller coaster. Has anyone else been feeling that? Yeah. There have been some pretty difficult lows. We've seen climate urgency being silenced in many arenas. There's federal grant cuts and mid-year funding reductions and people struggling and hurting and so much more. I do have to say, at the same time, I have seen some beautiful highlights too this year. And one of those is that the passion for sustainability is even stronger at the local level this year. We have an incredible ecosystem here of people that are committed to sustainability across Dane County. So we know that the strain on the environment is here, the impact on people is here, and how much this work is needed, how much the work that we are all doing is needed. The Powerful Teen Leaders Program is one of those examples for me of how much the work is needed. PTL is a summer youth employment program that we run here at Sustain Dane. It's for Northside teens who are often furthest from resources and opportunities. And it includes workforce experience and readiness with a particular focus on future employment in the green jobs. At the end of the program, there is a feedback survey. And I'd like to share a piece of advice that one of the participants wrote on that survey, because their words really resonated with me too. I love this program. I want to continue to help our environment because even if nobody cares, I still want to help because YOLO, you only live once. And I want to be useful all my life till the end, and this job has given me so much inspiration and motivation, and I am so ready for change. Like, this young person gets it. They're awesome. They're awesome. And it also makes me want to do all I can now so that I can be part of passing on to them a better future. So I believe that all of us together are going to continue to take on climate challenges ahead of us. We're going to lift up and celebrate the accomplishments and remain committed to continuing to achieve more. Because as we like to say at Sustain Dane, change happens when inspired people take action. A big thank you to our sponsors, members, and partners who make the summit and all of the programs at Sustain Dane possible. The top-level sponsors of the summit are the City of Madison, Community Shares of Wisconsin, and MG&E. I also would like to recognize our Blue Jay sponsors of the summit and the Cardinal and Robin Summit sponsors. Membership is also very important to Sustain Dane, and we have members at the forest, tree, and leaf level. At the forest level, our members include Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, City of Madison, MG&E, UW Health, Everlight Solar, Community Shares of Wisconsin, Dane County Waste and Renewables, Reynolds Transfer and Storage, Focus on Energy, Slipstream, Starting Block, IPM Institute, Zing Collaborative, and DesignCraft. Sustain Dane membership offers inspiring education and professional development, powerful connections through networking and volunteering, and customized resources and support. I'd like to invite everyone to take time to read the posters recognizing our sponsors and our members. We also have an organizational directory. We're going to send out a link to that directory later on, also with links to the programs today. And please consider supporting businesses and organizations that value sustainability. Let's give a round of applause to all of our sponsors and members. All right, those in the back, please feel free to come in while I'm talking. There are still seats available here and here, so don't be shy. Come on in. So Sustain Dane is all about helping people learn, connect, and take action. Our vision is a thriving and inclusive community with a sustainable environment and economy that we are proud to pass on to future generations. Our mission is to inspire, connect, and support people to accelerate equity and sustainable actions for community well-being. Can I have a show of hands? Who has attended a Sustain Dane Summit before? Wonderful. And now on the other side, who is attending for their first time this year? Also wonderful. I think it's 50-50, I can't tell. Please make a point to introduce yourself to a new person or to many new people. This is a very special group of individuals. Included on your name tag is a stripe with your interest area in sustainability when you registered. This might help you connect with someone who shares a similar interest or overall be a conversation starter. We also have a wonderful group of exhibitors in the atrium, so take time to look at their booths and the resources that they can offer. Next, I'd like to share a short video of Sustain Dane's 2025 accomplishments. We have been working very hard. Many of you were a part of these programs and a part of these collaborations. You may see yourself in the video. But working together, we are making positive movement in the workplace, at home, in schools, and throughout our community. So that's what we've been up to. A huge recognition to our board of directors. Please raise your hand if you are part of the board. Great. Thank you guys for your service. It's greatly appreciated. Also, thank you to our staff. The Sustain Dane team brings such positive energy, dedication, and effectiveness to our programs each day. Thank you to this incredible group. And also, let's give a round of applause to our food scrap and powerful teen leader team members. Thanks to the generous support of the Sustain Dane Board of Directors, on the day of the summit, that's today, right now, your donations to Sustain Dane will be tripled up to $10,000. Each donation is going to go farther, and this is going to launch our year-end campaign. There are QR codes on the screen and at your tables, and we really want to thank you for considering donating to the triple match. Also brought back by popular demand is the Summit Raffle. The raffle includes amazing local prizes, from florists to meal preparation kits to handcrafted furniture. These tickets are $10 each and can be purchased at the exhibit table. We had a little bit of a snafu with our Venmo this morning, so there is a new Venmo code at the raffle table for you guys. And we'll let you know if the other one starts working later. But thank you for using the new Venmo code. You can place your tickets that you get into the mason jar next to the item you want to win. You do not have to be present. We will draw names at the end of the day. Also, use the strategy that works for you. If you want to put all of your 10 tickets into one jar or spread them out. I know there's lots of different theories on this that we've debated in the office. So good luck. All right, with that, onto our program. Our keynote speaker is Arielle King. She is an environmental attorney, educator, and strategist who works to make, as she says in her own words, environmentalism irresistible. And that is what we need right now. She is the host of the Joy Report podcast, which explores the people, stories, and solutions making an impact. With a background in environmental law and a deep commitment to education, Arielle brings a powerful blend of joy, truth, and grounded history to her work. I believe that her keynote will energize us to lead with resilience and purpose and build a more equitable and sustainable future. Please help me in welcoming Arielle.
Thank you so much, Claire, and good morning, everyone. How we doing? Feeling good? Yes? Okay. It is an honor to stand before you today as the keynote for this year's Sustain Dane Conference. Amidst all the chaos, calamity, and confusion in our world, there must always still be room and space for joy. Don't believe me? That's okay. Hopefully, by the end of our time together, you will. The Center for Story-Based Strategy reminds us that we can only walk where our hearts have first tread. So throughout this presentation, throughout this day and beyond, I invite you to keep your hearts and minds open to what might be possible if we continue working towards something better together. The threats facing people on the planet are vast and complex and often seem far beyond our capabilities to spark real change as individuals. Yet collective action is made up of individual choices and communal alignment. Okay, if you'll allow it, over the course of this session, we'll ground ourselves in the current moment, we'll share some new insights, learn from examples past and present, and dream together. Does that sound good? All right, let's do it. So before we begin, I would love us to just do a little breathing exercise together. So I would love us to have everyone just get comfortable in your seat, place both feet on the ground, place your hands on your lap, facing up if you feel like you need some extra energy, or facing down on your lap if you are seeking some additional grounding. And once you're comfortable, please gently close your eyes and focus your breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Let go of any tension you're holding in your body. Feel the weight of your body grounding into the earth beneath you. With every breath, allow yourself to become more present in this moment. Let go of all distractions and come into a state of stillness. Now imagine you are standing barefoot on the earth. Feel the warmth of the soil, the coolness of the grass, or the smoothness of the stone. Visualize yourself deeply rooted, just like a tree, with your feet connecting to the ground beneath you. You are grounded, you are strong, you are steady. With each breath, feel the connection to the earth grow stronger. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. With each breath, imagine drawing in the life energy of the earth. Feel the nurturing support it offers, filling you with peace and strength and renewal. Picture the roots of a tree growing down from the soles of your feet, stretching deeper and deeper into the earth. These roots connect you to the earth's core, where energy is abundant. As you inhale, draw in this energy. And as you exhale, send back any tension or negativity, letting the earth absorb it. Now, as you continue to breathe deeply, imagine the green of the trees, the blue of the oceans, and the vibrant colors of plants and flowers and birds. Picture the warmth of the sun shining down on you, filling you with a sense of balance and restoration. Exhale slowly, sending out gratitude to the earth. Thank the planet for the air you breathe, the food you eat, and the water you drink. There is only one planet in our solar system capable of creating this perfect balance. Feel the Earth's presence all around you, supporting you in every way. And as you continue breathing, think about the ways the Earth provides for all living beings. Imagine the vast forests that produce the oxygen you breathe, the oceans that sustain life, and the soil that nourishes plants and animals. Visualize the interconnectedness of all things. Every action you take, no matter how small, has an impact on the environment, and the earth responds to your energy. Feel the love and gratitude that is being exchanged between you and the earth. Now picture you as part of this beautiful planet. You are not separate from the earth, but an integral part of it. You are a unique expression of the planet's energy, just as the trees, the flowers, the animals, and the oceans are. Feel the sense of belonging to this vast, interconnected web of life. Reflect on the ways you can give back to the earth. Perhaps it's by reducing waste, conserving water, planting trees, or simply spending more time in nature. Feel the earth's wisdom and strength within you, and know that by aligning your actions with the earth's rhythms, you are helping to preserve and protect the planet for future generations. Take one more deep, deep breath, feeling the earth's energy flowing through you, and exhale, sending your love and gratitude back to the planet. Slowly begin to bring your awareness back to this present moment. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Gently stretch your body. And when you're ready, open your eyes, carrying this peaceful energy with you throughout the rest of your day. Okay. Thank you for indulging me. Appreciate it. All right. So before we go any further, I want to first, I start every presentation that I do by evoking the spirit of a very important ancestor, Miss Fannie Lou Hamer, one of my all-time favorite civil rights activists, whose story I think of often because to me she epitomizes intersectional environmentalism, radical imagination, and being the change that you want to see. She, like so many other women, got involved in movement building because she was exhausted by the status quo and dared to believe that a better version of the world was possible. A version where all people are considered and protected equally, despite their race, their class, their ability, their education, or any other type of difference. In this work, her quote, "Nobody's free until everybody's free," serves as a constant reminder for me of why we must advocate for the liberation of people and planet, with those experiencing the climate crisis first and worst while contributing least being prioritized in all considerations. And if you haven't heard of Miss Fannie Lou Hamer before today, I encourage you to spend some time researching her. Some of you might be wondering, who is this lady? Who is this lady up here? So allow me to formally introduce myself. I'm Arielle King. I'm an environmental justice educator and strategist whose work sits at the intersection of climate, culture, art, and justice. I live in New York City, and I was born and raised in New York's capital city of Albany. And it has been a very huge and historic week of wins in both of the cities I call home. We can clap, yes. Very exciting. Although the neighborhood I grew up in had the highest asthma rates in the city, the least amount of trees and green spaces, and no grocery stores, I had parents and mentors who helped instill in me a deep love, admiration, and appreciation for nature, and a sense of responsibility to protect this planet. From advocating for my elementary school to begin celebrating Earth Day in the 3rd grade, to helping launch the first entertainment and culture pavilion during the United Nations climate negotiations, also known as COP, 2 years ago in Dubai, to being named the first environmental justice staff attorney at the nation's oldest environmental think tank right out of law school, and being recognized for my work as a climate communicator by countless academic institutions, everything that I do is grounded in a deep love and reverence for this planet, a desire to make environmentalism irresistible, and a drive to ensure that everyone feels included and seen in this work. So for a few fun facts to break the ice, because I think that's important, I will share that I have traveled to 21 different countries in this beautiful planet. I've been a singer for most of my life. My favorite color is purple. I'm an Aries sun, Aquarius moon, Leo rising, and I have a pet ball python named Oshun. Shortly after graduating law school, I was recruited by a nonprofit organization and environmental media company called Intersectional Environmentalist to host a podcast that they were thinking about creating about positive climate solutions. Founded in 2020, the organization is dedicated to reshaping climate narratives to be more inclusive, accessible, and rooted in joy and radical imagination. And the organization has a growing community of nearly 500,000 people, providing resources and events that reach millions around the globe each year. Since then, I have had the privilege of hosting The Joy Report, a podcast dedicated to sharing stories about positive climate solutions grounded in intersectionality and environmental justice. Throughout the first 2 seasons, we've featured stories, voices, and perspectives of underrepresented and historically marginalized individuals and organizations who are working to make environmental discourse more intersectional and creating meaningful solutions to the most existential threat of our lifetimes, the climate crisis. Understanding that the antidote of despair is action, we hope that the podcast can be a way for people to learn about solutions already underway and get tapped into spaces where these solutions are taking place to help expand their impact in an effort to combat the climate doom that we see in the news, if climate is being reported on at all. Since then, through giving talks, offering workshops, and hosting The Joy Report, I have somehow become a leading voice in climate optimism and environmental joy, and it is a privilege to stand here today as your keynote speaker. Joy allows us to reject the scarcity and fear that oppression creates in our homes, minds, and spirits. Last weekend, I was at Yale University for a conference all about environmental joy, where I shared that environmental joy is radical imagination in action. It is infusing art and laughter into the work that we do. It's sharing meals with one another. It's dancing. It's showing up for your community. It's honoring the beauty of this planet and the diversity that allows it to thrive. We recognize the beauty in the interconnectedness of people, the planet, and all ecosystems. We have an obligation to ourselves and to the world to protect our joy as we protect our collective home. And as I mentioned, the podcast is grounded in optimism and environmental justice. So before I go any further, I just want to make sure we're appropriately grounded in what those concepts are, especially at a moment when these concepts are a bit contentious. Over the past year, there's been a great deal of misinformation circulating about what environmental justice is and what it isn't. So I want to make sure we're all on the same page here. Environmental justice, you'll see two definitions here on the screen. One is created by the Environmental Protection Agency years and years ago, not this current administration, but we're here. And another is by Dr. Brian Bunyan, who is a renowned environmental justice scholar who did most of his work in Michigan. So essentially, environmental justice seeks to provide fair treatment and equal enforcement of laws to all people, regardless of race, culture, gender, or income, aiming to undo regulatory systems that have created unequal distribution of burdens and benefits that disproportionately impact low-income communities, communities of color, and other disenfranchised groups first and most severely, while these communities contribute least to the problems. The success of environmental justice is marked by everyone being able to enjoy the same degree of protection from environmental and health hazards and equal access to decision-making in the processes necessary to have a healthy environment where basic needs are being met in which to learn, live, and pursue life. The environmental justice movement stems from the movement for civil rights in the United States. The protection of our planet is inextricably linked to the protection, safety, health, and well-being of people of color. Many consider the 1968 Memphis, Tennessee sanitation strike the start of the environmental justice movement, which is where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. marched to support sanitation workers opposing unfair labor conditions in the city. And it's also where he gave his final speech before he was assassinated, titled, "I've Been to the Mountaintop." Environmental justice also expands the definition of what we consider the environment to include where we live, where we work, and where we play. That's why housing, labor, voting rights, and access to green space, and so much more, are all important considerations and crucial elements of environmental justice. And someone recently shared with me that working on environmental joy is one of the most impactful things that we can be doing in this current moment. And that joy is what we get when we emerge from sorrow. We have to know and understand how far either can possibly extend to work toward creating better futures. So for a moment, I want us to first acknowledge the current experience that we are having. So again, I want us to close our eyes. And when we hear something that resonates, I just want you to raise your hand and keep your eyes closed until I ask you to open them. Thank you so much. So by a show of hands, have you ever felt sad, angry, despairing, or confused in the face of destruction of the Amazon rainforest, bleaching of the Great Barrier Reef, or the mass extinction of species worldwide? Have you ever felt a sense of loss or melancholy? Keep your hands up, please. Have you ever felt a sense of loss, melancholy, or helplessness in response to changes in your local environment? The loss of green spaces, the disappearance of familiar plants and animals, or the increase in forest fires and smoke? Please keep your hands up. Have you ever experienced hopelessness or felt scared about the future of the planet and ecological systems, and the future that your children and your family and all future generations might inherit? While keeping your hands up, please open your eyes and take a look around. Notice what it feels like to not be alone in your despair, in your fear, and in your confusion. You can put your hands down. Thank you. All right, let's take a deep breath after that. Okay. All right, deep breath. Okay. If any of this sounds familiar, you have experienced a taste of what ecological grief feels like. They all represent a loss or anticipated loss of something we value in our local or global environment. When we experience a loss strong enough, the natural human response is to grieve. And we call it ecological grief if what we lost or what we may lose is part of our ecological world. This grief is not only associated with the direct loss of nature, such as clear-cutting of a rainforest or the extinction of a species, but it can also arise in response to changes in our way of life. So ecological grief can be about an environmental change on the physical view, but it could also be about a loss of knowledge, culture, and identity as they relate to a particular place. or to a state of the planet as a whole. When we feel ecological grief in response to the impacts and anticipated impacts of climate disruption, including feelings of despair, anger, fear, guilt, sadness, or yearning, disorganization, or any other emotions, we call this climate grief. And that sorrow is one that doesn't get talked about enough. Surprisingly, climate grief isn't even, disenfranchised within communities of climate activists and climate scientists, even though members of these groups may experience this grief the most due to the level of exposure that we have to the issue. Because grief emotions are not often discussed in scientific or activist settings, many of us feel isolated in our experiences of grief while being surrounded by others who also feel similarly. So because of this, it is important to name climate grief, to validate it, and to rediscover and create new ways of working through it. And just as human grief for millennia has been a rational group process, that's what we must do to process what is happening all around us. And one of the ways that we can work through our collective grief is building up our muscle of hope, which is one of the most important driving forces behind climate optimism and environmental joy. Climate optimism is a mindset shift that sparks optimism, creativity, and solutions thinking while keeping a fact-based and awareness-driven approach to climate change. Don't mistake climate optimism for toxic positivity or wishful thinking. Optimism is a practice, and as with everything, it takes a commitment to stay the course. Now more than ever, we need to be solutions-driven and not give in to defeat. In fact, some scientists and experts worry that defeatism related to climate change can undermine efforts to take action, which may be just as or even more dangerous than flat-out climate denial. That's one of the reasons why the team at IE decided to create the Joy Report in the first place. We wanted to encourage people and remind everyone that solutions already exist to solve the climate crisis, and the more pressing issue is ensuring that funds and resources are allocated to those who are leading them. Radical imagination and climate optimism aren't about denying what we can see with our own eyes or ignoring our grief for what we've lost or what we might lose in the future. Thought leaders from the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health explained that climate optimism is an understanding that we know how to prevent the things from getting worse, and we're making progress. And that's why it's so important to seek joy, seek community, and get involved in climate action in a way that feels right for you. So we're gonna do a little activity. So for the next few moments, I would love for us all to think about our role in the climate sector. So what you see up here, this microphone, I am like fighting for my life up here, but this Venn diagram was created by incredible ocean and climate activist, Dr. Ayanna Elizabeth Johnson. She is the co-author of the book All We Can Save and many others, including another one called What If We Get It Right? This climate Venn diagram shows you three different elements. The first is, what are you good at? So what are the areas of expertise? What can you bring to the table? You can think about your skills, your resources, and networks, because you do have a lot to offer. The next is, what is the work that needs doing? Are there practices or particular climate and justice solutions that you want to focus on? Those are the things that you should be writing in that part of the Venn diagram. And then the third part, which is the part that excites a lot of us the most, is what brings you joy? Or perhaps a better word is satisfaction. What gets you out of bed in the morning? Choose the climate actions that energize and enliven you. So at each of the tables, you'll see a little postcard that has this Venn diagram that you get to take home. So thank you to this is Dane team. But for the next few minutes, we're just going to chat. We're gonna, spend maybe 2-3 minutes sitting with these elements of the Venn diagram, filling it out for yourself, and really thinking about what your role is and where you would like to fit into climate action, or where you see your work currently in the climate movement. All right, everyone. May I have your attention, please? You can get back to your seats if you've moved around. Hello, friends. If you can hear my voice, please raise your hand. Ooh, I love how quickly that just worked. Okay. So I would love to just hear from a few people, like how that exercise went for them. We have a few staff over here with microphones. So if you would like to just share some of the conclusions you came to, or some of the discussions that came about as a result of the prompt, would love to just hear a few reflections, reactions, things of that nature. Anyone want to volunteer? Anyone first? Yes. One moment. We'll get a mic to you. Thank you.
The whole place has to hear about it?
Yes.
So we use the time just to sort of network with our own table. We just said, "Who are you?" and "What do you do?" And
Perfect.
here's what I learned is former copier salesman, like laser printers. He retired, and then he found out that laser printers contribute significantly to CO2 production because there's heat involved. And if you just switch to an inkjet printer, you can cut CO2 emissions substantially. And if everybody did it with the 265 million printers, 265 million printers in the United States,
That's a lot.
this would save a lot of CO2.
That's amazing.
And actually hit the CO2 emissions reduction goal for 2050, you could probably do it in about 3 years if everybody made the switch.
And-
People don't realize this.
And since printers only last 3 to 5 years, generally, like everybody
Right.
could switch in the next 5 years
Wow.
to a better printer.
Okay.
How about that?
How about that?
And that brought me joy.
Thank you so much. That brought me joy. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? I see a hand back here. Yay.
So our conversation focused a lot on just the human element of setting an environment. So what does it mean to be emotionally regulated? Just because there's a lot of emotional dysregulation lately, and being able to tap into that aspect of ourselves. We talked about democracy and what it means to set a table for people to really truly feel included, and sometimes that means like how the space is set up, seeking understanding from other people, understanding where they're coming from, and also I'm adding this, but kind of community organizing, right? Like you mentioned the win in New York City.
Yes.
I think a large part of that came from inclusion and community organizing and making people feel seen and heard and
Absolutely.
and felt. So yeah, that's it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Yes. Can we get a mic to you right here? Thank you. All right.
So good morning, everyone. My name is Jean Brokish. I am here representing a small family foundation, Ralph K. Morris Foundation, and then I'm also, in my day job, I work for American Farmland Trust. But I'm new. I grew up in Dodgeville, but 30 years and 30,000 miles later, I made my way back recently. And I'm very into food and environment and community. And what I got out of everybody at this table was like 4 groups that I could connect with in my new community. So that was really meaningful to me, and it brought me lots of joy.
Good. Yay. Okay. Do we have one more? Yes. Blue sweater. Oh, I see 2. So yeah, those final 2. Yep. Both wearing blue. Yes. That way. Yes.
I'll stand up as well.
Okay.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Cora. I'm from Ian's Pizza. Oh, come on. Thank you. Thank you. Feels good to work there sometimes. I can't lie. But I had an absolutely wonderful conversation with Eden and John here. I got a book recommendation by Leah Thomas, if anybody's familiar, The Intersectional
Environmentalist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course you would know.
Yes. It's my homie. Yes. Yes.
But we talked about actually quite a number of things, but I think one of the things that really stuck with me was the conversation about like the history and understanding of marginalized communities and how they're affected through the continuous climate effects more than we probably can recognize and know. And understanding that getting that knowledge is really important moving forward in the conversations that we're having today, and keeping that in the back of our heads when we're trying to create climate action.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And then there was one more. I saw, yes, a hand raised behind you.
Hi, my name is Diana de Pierola. I come with Focus on Energy here. And what we talk about within our table was about shopping and not shopping, which was very interesting.
Yes.
Just because Christmas is coming very soon.
Yes.
So we're talking about shopping locally first, and then we're talking also about not shopping. And sometimes that the things that are valued the most are the simple things. Just maybe a pass to a state park, or some simple things.
Yes,
So.
gifting experiences. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. So let's make sure that we are all grounded in the same definition of radical imagination. We've been talking about it a lot today so far. So scholar Ozzy Alazime has gifted us with the knowledge that radical imagination is the audacity to live in the world as it is and dream something different. It is a tool to reimagine ourselves in society time and time again. It's about being courageous enough to learn and unlearn, to ask questions, and then boldly and audaciously think through and act on solutions in a way that you might not have ever seen before. Radical imagination is the instinct that was taught out of us, but the skill we most desperately need for a liberated future. In order to deal with all the social and environmental injustices in our world, we need radical imagination. And so I added like a little blurb here. So I highly recommend everyone take a moment to watch the TED Talk, A Dinner Party Game to Spark Your Radical Imagination. It is wonderful, extremely inspiring, and yeah, if there's ever an opportunity to do the dinner party game at a dinner party, you absolutely should. Yes, so radical imagination is not just a passive action or something that simply exists within us. It is active. It's something that we do, that we use, that we exercise and bring into existence outside of our physical being. And a large part of radical imagination is joy, that indispensable force that can strengthen our resolve and help us uncover creative solutions and bolster our resilience. Joy is a statement to ourselves and to the world that we are still here, undefeated. Radical imagination and climate optimism go hand in hand. In order for us to have the audacity to believe that a better world is possible while witnessing all of the craziness around us, it is essential to find resources to stay motivated and optimistic. Truman State University professor of psychology, Una Ferguson, explains that positive thinking and optimism are predicators of resilience that can initiate action and commitment to goals and help us more efficiently cope with stress. Radical imagination requires us to unlearn the dominant narratives we've been taught, and that there are other alternatives to our current systems and structures and laws and policies that dictate who has power and how. Radical imagination is a central theme of my work and the work of an intersectional environmentalist. So in addition to creating a whole episode in season 1 on radical imagination of the Joy Report, an invitation to engage in the practice is infused throughout most episodes and nearly all of the work that I do. So next, I will share a few past and present examples to highlight the ways that people are continually seeing the world as it is, daring to believe something better is possible, and working toward that better version. So first is the Combahee River Collective, which was an organization of Black feminist lesbian socialists who began organizing and developing a movement in response to feeling left out of the mainstream feminist and civil rights movements. Their work was grounded in anti-racism and the liberation of all women, and their name derived from an important event in American history that has not received the recognition it deserved. In June of 1863, during the Civil War, Harriet Tubman, under command of Union Colonel James Montgomery, became the first woman to lead a major U.S. military operation. She and approximately 300 black soldiers of the 2nd South Carolina Volunteer Infantry, a regiment comprised mostly of freedmen from the Sea Islands, which span from the coasts of South Carolina, which is where my ancestors are from, Georgia, and Florida, emancipated more than 700 enslaved men, women, and children in what is known as the Combahee River Raid. During the raid, the Tubman and the soldiers also destroyed several $1 million worth of plantations, warehouses, and rice fields along the river. Over 100 years later, the Combahee River Collective would be formed in 1974. In an interview, Barbara Smith, one of the co-founders of the Combahee River Collective and a pillar in the Albany community who I've had the privilege of knowing my entire life, explained that the time of the Combahee River Collective's formation, many emerging feminist organizations and publications were naming themselves after foremothers in the liberation and civil rights movements. And after discovering a pamphlet documenting Harriet Tubman's leadership in the Combahee River Raid in conjunction with the collective action of hundreds of freedmen, the CRC wanted to continue the legacy of radical collective freedom seeking by naming their organization the Combahee River Collective. So in 1977, their seminal work, the Combahee River Collective Statement, is considered one of the first documents to coin and identify and define identity politics, which it's in its descriptions of interlocking systems of oppression. Our ancestors knew the personhood, strength, and solidarity stemming from Black women, and they imagined, organized, and fought for a different future, and brought that future into existence. And that is what radical imagination is all about. Another example is a few years ago, I had the opportunity to meet Crystal Hainsley, the first Black woman CEO in the community solar industry. Her company, We Solar, is committed to bringing under-resourced communities affordable access to local community solar energy by allowing people to tap into solar farms via a subscription service, which allows discounted access to solar power for even those who don't own their homes. This is energy justice in action, defined as the goal of achieving equity in both social and economic participation in the energy system. In doing some research for this presentation, I learned that Dane County has community solar projects as well. And I hope that this keynote is helping you realize just how many things happening in your community are also examples of radical imagination in action. And so many of the things that have been shared and highlighted through Sustain Dane's work, even at the start of this morning, are examples of radical imagination in action. So last month, during New York City Climate Week, we hosted a special live episode of The Joy Report. I had the chance to talk with Alexis Nicole Nelson and Nicholas Key. And Alexis, otherwise known as Black Forager on Instagram. She is a forager, cookbook author, content creator, and environmental scientist based in Columbus, Ohio. And Nicholas is the founder of Key Farms, which is an ocean farm in Jamaica that has been making a huge impact in the Caribbean and the larger climate space. From its enormous carbon sink capabilities to its endless culinary possibilities, we spent the entire conversation exploring the power of seaweed and what it holds for our future. So this episode is being released soon, so I'm not going to get into it too much because you have to listen to it. But be on the lookout for it wherever you find your podcast or on YouTube very soon. So now I want to invite you all to engage in a little bit of radical imagination for the rest of our time together. In group discussion at your tables, I want you to explore the following prompt. Yes, so imagine you wake up in a transformed society that reflects your values. What does that world look like? What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? What is present in that world and what's not present? How are people relating to one another and to our surroundings? What is your role in this transformed future? Okay, talk amongst yourselves. Thank you so much. All righty. If you can hear my voice, please raise your hand. If you can hear my voice, please raise your hand. All right. Thank you. Let me turn off my jazz. Hold on. Okay. Wonderful. So I would love to hear some of what folks are saying for this, like maybe like 2 or 3 people, because the conversation was just so rich. I really enjoyed walking around and getting to eavesdrop on so many of your conversations. So yeah, if anyone by show of hands would like to just share a little bit of what was being discussed, some things that were surprising that people brought up, some, yeah, like whole new visions that you created together with your table. What was going on? Show of hands, what's going on? Yes. Hold on, there's a mic for you. I don't think you need it, but there's a mic for you.
Thank you, Spencer. Our table had a wonderful chat. Our vision of tomorrow is that there will be no trash trucks. There will be no trash pickup at your home or business. You'll be able to hear the birds chirping because downtown Madison will be auto-free. And we'll all be driving electric vehicles, transportation being 1/3 the cause of greenhouse gas emissions.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Any others? Any others to share? We have, yeah, my friend here in the hat. A mic is coming. Oh, coming. 2 mics are coming. Who's going to get there first?
Thank you. Daniel Hartzig from Waste Cap. We help people get to zero waste.
Nice.
And our pretty unanimous decision at our table is we'd all be out of a job, first of all.
Okay.
But also, I think the second thing that came up was everyone kind of agreed that we'd all feel calmer. Everything would just be easier.
Yeah,
So,
beautiful.
did I get that right?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Any others? Yes, we have, yep, up here. Okay. Thank you, Mike Runners. Grateful for you.
Good morning. My name's Steve Whalen. We talked at our table a lot about community and a transformed society being where doors were left open and people could come over and visit each other and be in community across generations. So living in neighborhoods where folks are retired and they're at home and they're working in the yard, being able to go over and open up conversations with people just about what they're growing. There's been so much talk at our table about food and how we do food and sharing food and sharing our ideas and learning from folks that are vegans that, you know, there are so many wonderful things that you can eat. And not having to do it, 100%, but just learning and recognizing that different is okay. It doesn't have to be less. So really good conversations.
Thank you so much. Okay, and yes, one more here. Yep.
Hi, my name is Sharon Lesberg, and I'm going to build on that because our table talked a lot about a community where people know one another, where you care about one another and you take care of one another, so that if you have neighbors who are in need, you know that and you share, and sort of really readjusting ideology to reciprocality and taking care of one another.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Let's give ourselves a round of applause for engaging in this exercise. Yeah. I hope that these conversations don't stop here. I hope that you continue to build off of this practice of radical imagination in the work that you do, in the conversations that you have at home, at work, with friends, at the bar, wherever, because there's always opportunity to learn and explore. So radical imagination can be done and utilized in a myriad of ways and will look different depending on the individual, the community, social movement, or organization. There is a lawyer, Charles Hamilton Houston, who once said that without education, there is no hope for our people. And without hope, our future is lost. So I want to encourage you all to keep learning, keep asking questions, Keep using your imagination to create a better, more equitable, and just world where people are prioritized over profit and community is at the core of it all. Because that is the future we deserve, and we have to work together to make it happen. So I will be around throughout the day if you'd like to chat. And yeah, you can connect with me on some of these other ways shown on the screen. But I want to thank you all for your time and attention today. It was a pleasure to be your keynote this morning. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Arielle, for that incredibly meaningful and joyful keynote speech. Arielle has offered to graciously start the break over at the table here, so she'll be easy to find if you'd like to talk with her some more. And next up is the break. We have 30 minutes. Please enjoy the exhibit tables, the raffle, a triple match, continue the conversations. And when you return, feel free to sit at a different table if you'd even like to mix up. Don't feel like you have to go back to an assigned seat. I know, right? We're doing things crazy. All right, the next panel, hold on one thing. The next panel is our housing and sustainability panel. There is AIA credit for it. So if you would like to get credit, please sign up at the registration table. I will see you guys back here at 11. Enjoy the break.